Tony's Topics, to Tony's Topics, to Tony's Topics. What's happening, folks? My name is Tony. Welcome to Tony's Topics. Alright, I am disgusted. I just got done watching the Cavaliers play, right? They just got done playing the Houston Rockets, and I wonder what happened. They lost. After all this hype about how the Cavaliers are trying to make moves, get J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert from New York. Recently today they traded for Timothy Mozgov from the Denver Nuggets. They're like, oh yeah, they're trying to get this team better. What happens? They lose. And you're like, wow, they just lost overnight? No. Here's why I'm complaining about why they lost. Because they didn't change the person that they actually need to change now. Let's talk about what happened. The first thing I noticed as I'm looking at the game, I'm watching the game and I got there a little bit late, but I was checking up the stats on my phone. Who's in the starting lineup? The first name I see, Mike Miller. Now, I'm like, at this point, there is no way Mike Miller's in your starting lineup. If anybody who was watching the NBA last year saw what he does, saw what he did for Cleveland, Mike Miller is not a starter. I'm sorry, he's not. Good defense, occasionally he'll get in the game and shoot some three-pointer shots, but he is not a starter on your team. Not on a championship team, forget about it. But can you tell that to David Blatt? No, Mike Miller's his new hot guy. He wants to run him and start him and play him for 30 minutes, even though that guy's going to get 5 points in maybe the entire game. And you're like, oh, he did it to shut down Harden. I think you're trying to make excuses for your man. Bottom line is, he started Mike Miller in like the last 6 games in a row. Mike Miller's still only getting like 5 points a game, but he still keeps starting him like he's just, killing it and making him play major minutes. Okay, moving on. Next up, Kevin Love, got in there, did a great job. I mean, his points were a little bit low at 17, but with 16 rebounds, I think he pulled his own. Tristan Thompson, my man, got in there, hustled, got like 11.6 rebounds. He's playing the center, and honestly, I've always thought of Tristan Thompson as being a power forward, but he hustles so hard that he can pull it off. And tonight was a real test because he had to go up against Dwight Howard, which he was doing just fine early in the game. Like in the first half, I think Dwight Howard might have had only like 6 points. So for Dwight Howard to be the second option for that team, Tristan Thompson did a really good job in containing him. Now, the second half, he starts to blow up. But make no doubt, Dwight Howard is one of the top 5 centers in the game. So, yeah, as, Tristan Thompson gets tired, all that muscle's going to catch up. So why didn't David Blatt put in a backup center? Some of you are like, because he doesn't have one. Wrong. He's got, honestly, Cleveland's got plenty of big men. I was reading what some guy said the other day. He was like, Cleveland doesn't have any big men. They need more big men. No, they don't. David Blatt doesn't play the big men that he has. Look at the beginning of the season. They had Anderson Varejao. They had Kevin Love, Anderson Varejao, Tristan Thompson, Alex Kirk, and Brendan Haywood. Now, 2 of these guys you practically don't even know. Alex Kirk, that guy probably had an entirety of 20 minutes of play time this thus far in the season before he got traded. So we don't even know what that guy can do. Check. 2, every time Brendan Haywood gets on the court, he always produces. He produces points, he produces rebounds, and he does it in a limited amount of time. He was allowed to play for a little bit of time tonight. And in that little bit of time, he scored points, got rebounds, and I think he even got an assist. So why didn't the coach leave him in the game longer? I don't know. That's something with Blatt's logic. Guys who score and get rebounds don't play them too long. Okay, so now we know Anderson Varejau's hurt, but Anderson Varejao was kind of on the downward spiral anyway. I mean, at best he was a 10-8 center, and honestly, in the last few 5-6 games, he was only like a 7-8 center. So it was almost time for Tristan Thompson to really take over anyway. Tristan Thompson, on the other hand, has been doing just fine. Okay, that guy's been blowing up. I mean, honestly, if the other team's center is just average, Tristan Thompson will kill him. Now, against the Dwight Howard, yeah, he's going to get the better of him. But honestly, Tristan Thompson was probably fine for a good 2 quarters. You just can't leave him in there all day, though, against a monster like Dwight Howard. You've got to bring in a backup center. But this coach didn't see that one. Oh, I don't need help against Dwight Howard? Oh, come on, man. Come on. But anyway, Oh gosh, let me see here. Kyrie Irving killed it, 38 points or some crazy mess like that. So that brings us to our next issue that I have with David Blatt. Running Dellavedova. Tonight Dellavedova had a decent game. He got 9 points. Problem? He was played for like 36 minutes. Okay, 9 points is good if you're played for 2 quarters, 24 minutes, but not for 36, not for 3 quarters, something like that. He was way overplayed. And on most nights, anybody who looks at the scores knows Dellavedova gets like 3 points. So what is the justification for leaving him in that long? Honestly, I do like the idea of running Kyrie Irving as more of a shooting guard and Dellavedova as a point guard, putting in another point guard, but the glaring thing that it made me realize that everybody probably was wondering was, number one, he barely played J.R. Smith. Oh, wait, and J.R. Smith, in the time that he got like 17 minutes, didn't score 1 point. And then he didn't even put Iman Shumpert on the table. He never even put Iman Shumpert in the game. Oh, so what was netted? Let's look at what was really netted from the Dion Waiters trade based on the way that Blatt played the team. We lost a guy who was last year averaging 15 points a game, was starting to hit about 15 points this year. We traded that to OKC so we could get a guy that's been taken out early in his first game and another guy that the coach doesn't even intend to play. Good job with that trade. Or was it? Let's see here. Last but not least, Shawn Marion. That was a productive guy that seems to not be getting any minutes. I guess Blatt overdid it and now he's underdoing it. I mean, if there was ever a time to play Shawn Marion, I would think it would be now that LeBron James is absent, since he's left since his birthday. Okay, but moving on. Who else? Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah, James Jones. James Jones, every time he gets in the game recently, he's been scoring almost 10 points a game. Tonight he had 6 points, and he was barely in the game any time at all. But again, here goes David Blatt. I'm going to take that guy out and never put him back in the game, even though he's shooting hot. I think it's quite obvious. And now we've traded for Timothy Mozgov or whatever. We gave away 2 first-round picks for a guy who's not even averaging 7 points a game and not even averaging 8 rebounds a game. 2 first-round picks. First round, as in 2 of the top 32 college students or college basketball players or worldwide top, prospects in the world. We gave away 2 of those. 2 for a man who doesn't even average 7 points a game. Doesn't even average 8 rebounds a game. Woo! Goodness gracious. Get another coach. I hate to throw this guy under the bus because, I thought he was maybe trying to figure some stuff out, but he's seeming a little too stagnant. Sorry, it's not looking good. Whoever recommended that Dion Waiters trade, it's not looking good. Unless J.R. Smith just comes out. And honestly, in some of the last games with the Knicks, J.R. Smith was starting to get like 15 points a game. So I was like, ooh, and his defense looks good. Ooh. But at the same time, the Knicks were losing for a reason. Okay? So if it wasn't working over there, why are you trying to get it over here? Yeah. Bottom line, the salary cap also of the Cleveland Cavaliers is already practically maxed out. You got a $20 million player in Kevin Love, a $20 million, even though he's getting paid $15, he's going to want $20 next year. A $20 million player in LeBron James, and a $15 million player in Kyrie Irving. $55 million already off the table with a $63 million salary cap. So all Cleveland can really afford are guys that are either cheap rookies or cheap veterans. So calm down with the trading and use what you have, because Blatt's really not using his resources. Not effectively anyway. That's my time and that's my topics.